Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Joe Barber. Just giving y'all an update on how life is going for me. I'm healthy. I'm blessed. Woke up today. I have some good news and bad news, but it's part of the growth, and I'll share that later. What I wanted to make this video for is to just inform people, just to share a little bit of my experience in owning a barbershop, the do's and don'ts of owning a shop. We can start off first of all with getting either you're gonna have an LLC or you're gonna have a C Corp or S Corp. Go look that up and see which one's gonna work best for you. And when you do, I would tell you to go get a PO box first, so you can have that address. So all your business stuff goes there and not to your personal house, because people could look you up and find out where you really live, government name, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a pain in the butt. There's a lot of other, legal steps that you need to take, but these are just like the basic stuff that I can share that I've learned, that I made mistakes on, and I just want the next person to be ready. Right now, what's been going on, a lot of people within the hair industry have been getting suites. So there's some suites that you can rent, and they're like $200, $250 weekly, $300, $400, depending on how nice they look, I guess. Which is, I would say it's a good price, but they do background checks, so you can't have any kind of bad stuff on your background. You can't have any evictions on your background, stuff like that. People are also, if you want to open up your own shop, right? That's, this is what the video's for. I want to tell you a lot of the things that I made mistakes on is making sure that you're capable of paying your lease if there's nobody in that barbershop, right? According to how many square feet, you want to figure out what your overhead's going to be, whether it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever the case may be. Ideally, you want to open up a shop with like 3 people that are your friends, or that you're really, connected with, that y'all are beyond just being barbers. You want to be able to trust these people. You got to sit down and teach them your vision, share with them your vision and why it is important for y'all to stick together, or not stick together, or at least for a desired amount of time. You can type up like a contract where it's like, okay, if you're gonna rent with us, you got to sign a 6-month contract or a year contract. And that's the best thing to do, honestly, instead of just taking somebody's word and, I just want to be a barber. You got to get these people to sign contracts, and that are legit contracts, so you're gonna have to hire a lawyer to do the work, and he'll create one contract for you. You have to get it notarized and all that to make it legal. And once they sign that, then they're telling you, like, okay, it's like renting an apartment, and if they break the lease, then you report it, they broke a lease, whatever. Do that instead of just taking somebody's word, man. I promise you. And because they have to submit that paperwork, you want it to where you take every beginning of the week, you take the money out of their bank account. They have to put their routing number, their whatever, and if it doesn't go through, then guess what? They don't work that week, and you can do what you got to do to protect yourself. That's the biggest problem that I've had in my, I've owned a barbershop. This is going to be 7 years that I'm in this location, and I had another barbershop for 2 years that I was the owner, and I was, running everything. Those are the problems that I had, is with people, hiring people that are dedicated, hiring people that are professionals. Some things you're gonna have to teach and kind of get in, but sometimes people have these habits, and I'm telling you, it's hard. They're patterns. It's hard to get them to understand things, and what's normal to you or what's common sense to you is not common sense to the next person. Some people have a different idea of why they became barbers, and you have to find like-minded people that are disciplined, that that are goal orientated, that have something to lose. They got a family, they got a mortgage, those are the kind of people that you want to attract to your shop. And it's hard, man. It's hard finding those kind of people, because eventually those people get to a point where they're like, well, I could just open up my own shop. And that's what's been happening here in San Antonio. It is very saturated. So many barbershops within a 1 mile radius. It's crazy. Not to say there's not enough people. It's not that. It's just barbers are jumping from shop to shop to shop to shop. As soon as they don't, like something, or someone corrects them, or someone asks them to do something that they're not comfortable with, like if you tell some, hey man, can you throw the trash? They take it personal. Hey man, do you mind if you mop before you leave? They take it personal. And nah, man, I ain't doing that. I'm leaving. And they leave. And it's like, those are the kind of things that you want to establish from the jump. Letting people know that, hey, if your customers are using this common space area, we're going to alternate in cleaning, and you can set up a schedule. But be like consistent with that. And it sucks because some people think once they become an owner, the shop will run itself. It never will do that. You'll either run it to the ground, or there's going to be problems, and it's because people are people. You're going to have a manager, or you're going to have somebody there that is monitoring things, whether it's them giving attention to the telephone or the walk-ins. If you're a walk-in kind of shop, that's the only way you're going to have consistency, and that's the only way people are going to be held accountable, because the he said, she said is not going to work. Because a lot of times people are like, nah, I didn't do that. Nah, he's lying. But if you have, let's just say, a manager or a person that's your administrator type, they take the job of being a secretary and, taking phone calls, making appointments, redirecting traffic with people. And they have a job of doing like your social media, and you're paying them hourly. That would be awesome. That's the only way you're going to get from behind the chair, man. And it's hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. Unless you have a shop manager and you have to really train him, you're going to have like monthly meetings with your barbers. And I'm telling you, you have to have structure. If you do not have structure, it's going to be up and down. You're going to have a turnaround all the time. Barbers are going to come and they're going to tell you everything that you want to hear from the jump. Oh man, yeah, no, I want this, I want that. And I'm a hustler, and I got 80 customers that I cut a week, and I'm a whatever. They're gonna say all those things, and then when their customers are not coming in, they're like, oh well, nah, I didn't do this, and they're gonna come in late. They're gonna leave early. Oh, my wife, my kids, my boyfriend, my blah blah blah. There's always gonna be an excuse and a lot of barbers think like, well, I'm my own boss, bro. I can leave when I want, and this is true to a certain extent. You are your own. And like self-employed when you're renting, or you're doing it that way, where you're paying for the space. But the integrity of the barbershop, the reputation of the barbershop, is constructed of every individual that is in that shop. Like, people need to understand that. It's like if one fails, we all fail mentality. Everybody has to be on the same page when it comes to that. And when you're on that same page, if someone doesn't show up because they have an emergency and they already have appointments, the other barbers are going to be more willing to sorry, somebody just cut me off. More willing to help. Like, oh no, that's my boy. He has my back, I have his back. So it's like people will like, oh well, I gotta leave, I gotta do this, I want to stay, or they go party, they don't want to show up the next day. Like their appointments or walk-ins are coming in looking for them for that in particular barber. They're not gonna say like, oh no, homeboy didn't take care of me. They're gonna name the shop. And if someone does a bad haircut, they're not gonna say that person gave me a bad haircut. They're gonna say your shop name gave me a bad haircut. And bad news travels faster than good news. Always remember that. And it sucks because if you don't have a presence online, you don't exist. So make that a priority and have a set schedule of how you want your shop to be promoted, and always putting content up, and use all platforms, because I'm telling you, other barbers don't even know how to promote themselves. And even when they're promoting themselves, that's all they want to do. They don't want to promote the shop. They don't want to promote the team. They don't want to promote the squad. It's like, nah, bro, I'm just promoting me and mine. That's it. And that's how you lose momentum. That's how there has to be unity within the shop, and it has to be established, and you have to be a leader. And it's hard. Like for me, I was at a point where at one time I had 14 barbers. I had barbers and cosmetologists in my shop, and I thought like, yo, this is dope. I don't have to be at the shop as much. And I had a manager at one point, and he was like, nah, it's too much, man. So he left. He couldn't handle it. He didn't want to handle it because it was putting a lot of stress on him. And I understood that. And the way you like deal with a manager position, right? You want to give somebody, majority of the time it's like, well, I'm gonna give you free booth rent so you don't have to pay. At my shop, it's $800 a month that you're pouring into the shop. So it's like I'm paying you $800 a month to run the shop for me so I don't have to be there. And then whatever needs to be taken care of by me, I will. So I thought, yeah, I could do that. But then the manager position, someone else wanted the manager position because they didn't get it. They got all, upset about it. And then they stopped producing. They're like, well, I'm not going to clean anymore. I'm not going to look out for Joe because he didn't make me the manager. And like making a big deal about it. And I'm like, wow. And then when you make that person the manager, when their personal life starts, going crazy, they bring that to work, and then they're frustrated, and it's hard to find someone that is going to be responsible, that is going to look out for your best interest. And you got to train people to do that, and sometimes it doesn't even work because by the time you pour into them and build them up, they get in their head like, I could just open my own shop now. So it's hard all the way around. I'm not saying that it's not going to work. I'm just saying these are the things that I've experienced, and it's been rough. So the reason I opened up a school is because I blame a lot of the schools out here that are not preparing these barbers to be professionals. They're not preparing them to understand that they are a business, that they need to protect themselves financially, that they're responsible for a lot of things, not just cutting hair, not just the way you dress, not just the way you promote yourself. There's a lot of aspects into what it takes to be a successful barber, and a lot of these schools are not teaching that. They're not. They're just like, I don't care about that. We need the numbers. The more students we have, the more people that pass, the more money we make. Because then once you get financial aid and you're accredited, then you're getting $17,000 to $20,000 for each student, and they don't care about if you are going to be successful. All they care about is what they're there to do: get you your license. If you don't come to school, we're going to mark you absent, and we're going to fine you. If you don't do this and if you don't do that, like if people don't have regular jobs, and it's hard. It's because being a student at a barber college is the same as going to like a regular college, because you have to be there at a certain time. You can't just get up and leave. You pick your schedule, like, you know what, these are the days that I'm going to come, blah, 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 blah. But then they're going to hold you to that because it reflects on the college. In order for a barber college to get accredited, you have to use a specific system. They have to have access to attendance. They have to have access to grades. They have to have access to what you're doing with your money. What are you paying with your money? Where are you spending it? And that's the only way you're going to get accredited. And it's a long process. You have to be open for 2 years. There's a lot of little things that I didn't know until I started wanting to get accredited. Then I was like, man, and I talked to other school owners, and you can't, I'm not saying that you can't, man, but it is very difficult for one individual to get all these. You have to have a team of people around you that are capable of doing jobs. You got to delegate. And it's hard for me because I can't delegate to anybody. I got one person that's had my back this whole time. One person, one barber that's had my back for the last 7 years. And he's a brother of mine. Like, we started barber college together. We know what it takes to be successful. And he's burnt out of doing all the other things and trying to help people. He got burned out, and he got done dirty by a lot of other people too. So it's like, we know the feeling of investing in people, and they turn against you, or they don't care, or they're in a position where they're struggling, so they can care less about you because they're barely making it. You know what I mean? And you can't expect somebody to AKA save you or look out for you when they're struggling and drowning themselves. And that's the problem. You got to have a lot of solid people around you, and it's hard to find solid people nowadays. A lot of people are making big mistakes with their finances. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses. They're living a life that is not even sustainable by them. by the standards that it takes in order to be like, they're not prepared in case something happens. A lot of these barbers don't have money in the bank. They don't save. They don't invest. A lot of people don't have good credit. You know, they invest their money in the dumbest things because they want to be cool and they want to be, you know, whatever. And I'm like, dude, stop doing that to yourself, because what happens is when things go wrong, it's not on them. It's on the owner now. Oh, it's the owner's fault. It's the owner's responsibility. And when they can't pay rent, the owner still has to pay rent. It's your name on the lease. It's your name on the dotted line. It's your name with your bank. It's your name with the, you know, light bill, phone bill, whatever bills you got to pay is your name. And these barbers are quick to just dip, man. They're just like, whatever, man, I'm gonna go to another shop. And a lot of barbers are looking like, I want to be at the busiest barbershop. They don't want to help build it up. They just want to show up and just like, oh, y'all did all the work, bet I'll start cutting everybody. And it's like, you know, some guys like being at a hood barbershop. They like it to smell like weed. They like it to be that kind of energy where it's cuss words everywhere, you know, stuff like that. It's not a professional atmosphere. That's why a lot of people don't respect when you say like, I'm a barber. People don't respect it like that, you know. And then all it takes is them going to your shop one time, smells like weed, or, you know, it doesn't feel professional in there. You got this, you know, music that's just not good. It's the music plays a big role, and it sets the tone for the business. So when you go to these places that you shop at, imagine going to a grocery store and they got the F this and the F that and pop pills and all, you know, twerk it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nobody wants to shop like that. Nobody wants to be in that frequency, you know, of a low frequency, you know, living like that, you know. But depending on who you're trying to target, if you want to only target those kind of people and you think that that's who you want to cut, then that's what you're going to do. But for me, I don't operate that way. If people want to listen to like rap music, what I do is I play instrumentals. I go on a playlist and just look for instrumentals, and that's it. That's all I play. So in people's mind, if you know the words to the song, you're going to sing it and you know it, but not everybody needs to know what's going on and have to, you know, say those things. So it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, when it comes to running a barbershop, it takes a lot. One person, it's hard. If you have the structure and you have the people around you that believe in you and that respect you, then it's a lot easier. But I'm telling you, man, finding those people, it takes time. And there's no guarantee that they're going to stick around, because some people, they see you're doing good. When they see you making money, they think to themselves like, man, if he could do it, I can do it. And I can do it better. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it's like, man, it sucks, because that's what happens. People get jealous, or people get envious, or people just want to do for themselves, and not out of envy or not out of that. It's because they believe in themselves, and that's what they want, which is cool. I respect that, but there's a certain way of doing that. There's a certain way of like, hey man, this is my plan. Even if people were to come to me and say like, hey Joe, this is what I want to do. My goal is to open up a shop. My goal is to do these things. I want them to tell me, and I'm like, cool, I'll get you ready for that. I'll primp you, whatever. Not primp, I'll prepare you to go that route, and I'll teach you the things that I know. I want people to succeed. I want people to be happy. But not everybody's built to be an owner. Not everybody has the leadership skills. Not everybody has the skills to be organized and separating things and understanding about credit, understanding about business credit, understanding about all the logistics that go into having a successful barbershop. It's a lot of work, man. And I've had my moment where it was great, and after COVID, I've never recovered, man. I've lost so much money. Some people don't even understand the energy, the time, the pain that you go through when your shop's not, when you're just keeping it afloat. You know, my overhead is $5,000 a month, man, and I've been covering that for the last year or year and a half, almost 2 years out of my pocket, renewing loans, business loans, personal loans, business loans, line of credit. Like, I've had to just put myself in debt because I'm like, nah, let's keep the dream alive, keep the dream alive, keep the dream alive. Let's go. Don't quit. Don't give up. Then, you know, I got a grant from the city. That helped a little bit, but with your overhead being $5,000, man, you know, it's ridiculous, bro. Like, for one person to take on that, you know what I can buy with $5,000 a month? You know what I can be driving? You know where I can be living with $5,000 a month? And I'm working 5 days a week. From, like, I'm getting to work right now. It's 9:05, and I stay here till 7. every day. There's days I get here at 8:30. There's days where I stay till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, trying to help students. And I don't get to leave. I don't get to go enjoy lunch. I don't get to go have, whatever vacation time with my kids. I don't get to now, bro. I don't have somebody that's going to come relieve me and be like, all right, Joe, I'll be here. I got this. You go do what you got to do. If I have a flat tire, bro, I can't take care of that right then and there. I have to be late. And I only have one other barber here, which he's a semi-instructor. So he gets to, take care of the school for me. But it's very difficult. It's not for everybody, man. When you're up, you're up. But when you're down, you're down. And you have to have the thickest skin. You have to have the mind to be able to deal with this. And it is very difficult, man. I'm not saying that this happens to everybody, because it doesn't. But I know a few people that have had a shop and they just were like, yeah, bro, this ain't for me. It's not for me. And when I first opened my shop where I'm at now, next door, we had 10 barbers. And we had 2 different rooms. The rent was like about $2,700 a month. Life was good. But I had stacked up about 20-something thousand that I saved off of, the money when I was started profiting, I was not spending the money. I was saving it because I was going to reinvest it, because I was like, oh, I'm going to open up another shop. So then what happened was I had an opportunity to get the space that I'm in now, which is about 3,000 square feet. I had that opportunity, so I said, man, instead of opening 2 shops where I have to be at 2 locations, let me just open one big shop and I can hire a good amount. I already have 10 people. I just need, X amount of people to offset my cost. So I did, and I invested over 50 to 60 grand into rebuilding the floor, the plumbing, the electric, building walls, buying more equipment, buying more chairs. I spent double what I initially had spent on my other shop, because I needed to buy a lot of different things. Permits. I have 2 suites that are combined to create one space. So that's what I decided to do. It went well. I added people. Things were good. We had momentum, marketing. We had a website, everything. But then little by little, barbers started having bad habits. They were, not showing up on time, no structure. And that's where I failed, because, and I'm a busy barber myself. I cut a lot. Like today, I have 13 people in a row from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. I'm booked back to back, no lunch break, no nothing. It's because it's Good Friday today. So people are getting ready for the Easter weekend. And my haircut started at $50. So the math. That's how. So I'm capable of sustaining my business with my chair. But understand, when you're living and you're thinking of quality of life, how you get to spend your money, and the people that rely on you, and you're trying to be that guy, you're trying to be responsible, you're trying to be a provider, a protector, all that stuff. People don't care about dads. People don't care about men. It's like, well, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to make $200,000 a month, a year. You're supposed to have these, if you're not a man. And we have to provide in that sense. And we don't get the benefits. We don't get the breaks. We don't get the celebration of us being men. And I'm not saying that there's not bad fathers or bad men out there, just as there is bad women. But I'm just saying it sucks sometimes, man, because we go through a lot mentally. And a lot of us do break, and a lot of us do fail. And we spiral out of control, man. And I'm grateful that I have God in my life. I'm grateful that I have that connection with God, where God speaks to me and tells me, like, hey, everything's going to be all right. This is not happening to you. It's happening for you. This is not like, this is what God told me the other day. And it, gives me chills, but it's like, this is not punishment. I'm preparing you for something greater. And I have to trust in that. And I have to believe in that. And every time my mind wants to do something wrong that goes against God, I have to choose not to. I have to choose not to respond to people or not to react to people, whether it's because I'm mad, whether it's because I'm sad, or whether it's because of lust, or whether it's because of greed, or whether it's because we get programmed by our phones and TV and movies that's the kind of life we need to live. We need to have a 50,000 square foot house in order to be successful. We need to live this kind of lifestyle. We need to be lavish. We need to be, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to have good things. That's cool. But don't let that defy who you are, because you will get humbled. And what happens when people get humbled, they want to exit. Like, if they can't live that lifestyle, they feel like they're worth nothing. Like their body is not worth anything. Their mind is not worth anything. Their talent is not worth anything, because this society says you're not wearing the name brand. You're not living that lavish lifestyle. And that's so far from the truth. Without whatever I have in my life, I'm still me. And I value and love myself and respect myself enough. The barbershop does not make me. The barber college does not make me. My barber haircuts do not make me who I am. That's a percentage, a small percentage of who I am. I'm still me, and I'm still gifted because I belong to God. And that's where my value comes. Even when I don't have the woman of my dreams, or I don't have the car of my dreams, or I don't have the house of my dreams, or whatever, I still have value. I'm still worthy of God's love. I'm still worthy of existing, and my voice, my thoughts, my whatever, they mean something, you know, and it may not be to people, but as long as I have that connection with God, that's what matters to me. But I just wanted to throw that out there because it's gonna get tough, bro, and it's gonna be good. And sometimes when you get good, it gets to your head and you think, man, I got 100,000 in the bank, bro. They can't touch me. They can't stop me. Let me go get this business and let me get that business, and I'm going to be a tycoon and that. You don't know what comes with that, bro. You don't know what comes with that. That maintaining those businesses is going to cost you money, time, and it's going to cost you something more precious than you can ever, imagine. But that's on you. You're going to have to experience that. I can't tell you what that is, because a lot of things are the peace. The precious thing that I have is my peace. I can go to sleep at night knowing that I did my very best today. I can go to sleep tonight knowing that I didn't do nobody wrong. I didn't do nobody dirty. I didn't talk bad about nobody. I just know that I can go to sleep like that. Not a lot of people do that, bro. A lot of people will step on somebody's neck just to get the money and say, like, I got that bread, man. They respect me. They fear me. I'd rather somebody, fear me or be loyal to me than love me. I'm like, man, you've never experienced God's love. You never experienced God's mercy. So that's why I don't agree with that. And some people don't know how to love. Some people don't know how to be loyal or, respect other people because they've never experienced that. So we have to be that person, unfortunately. And it comes with pain. It comes with disappointment. It comes with, what people consider failure. But those are all lessons, man. And you learn a valuable lesson. And the only way you learn that lesson is by going through it. And you can't run from it. And so many people now run from responsibility. They run from accountability. They run from all these things because, nah, man, that costs too much, bro. But that's what you need to go through in order for you to grow, in order for you to mature, in order for you to have thick skin. So when someone says something to you, it doesn't break you. It doesn't cause you to react and say like, oh, man, well, I'm going to do this. And then you piss everything away that you have. All the gifts that you have, and you never are grateful for something until you lose it. You're never grateful for a good woman until you lose her. You're never grateful for a good man until you lose him. You're never grateful for the opportunities until you lose them. And that's the thing that sucks, because it takes that in order for you to wake up. And sometimes people don't wake up. They go the opposite route. They're just like, oh, whatever, bro. I'm just going to keep doing it. And hey, man, if, my dad did it, I'm going to do it too. My mom did it, I'm going to do it too. They did it to me, so I'm going to do it to her. And it's that vicious cycle that continues on. And it sucks, bro. I'm just explaining to you what I've experienced in my life. So you have to understand that that's going to happen. That may happen to you. But don't let that break you, man. Don't let those things break you, because you're still worthy. You still have value. You can still have, you fulfill your purpose. So I don't want people to ever think that it's going to be easy, because it's not. Owning a barbershop, a lot of these people on Instagram and YouTube, they're showing you their highlight reels, bro. They're making it seem like life is good, like other people are not helping them, like they're not paying other people, or they're not taking losses, or they're not in a huge amount of debt to, live the lifestyle that you're living. They're like, oh yeah, no, man, I'm making 100,000, 200,000. All my haircuts are $100. And they're not telling you exactly. You can't even go look to see, like, okay, your haircuts are $100. How many haircuts do you do a day? And oh, well, like one or two. So, but that's what you're charging. Like, get out of here, dude. And there's people out there that are doing that, and they'll put it out there like, man, I do this many haircuts, and there's no way to find out if they're lying or not. And some people, they cap all the time because they think it makes them look cool. I'm like, dude, it doesn't work that way, man. There's some barbers that are out here that have only been cutting for 2-3 years, and yeah, oh man, $60 haircuts all day, but they only do 2 haircuts, 3 haircuts all day. I'm like, there's not even no demand for you, but because they want to be able to say that they're doing that, it's like, that's what it is. And their haircuts are not that good, man. And some of these young kids, they don't even know what a good barber is. So it's like, they go to a barber, and as long as that barber does a haircut, or they use a lot of hair dye and they make it look good on on the phone. Then they go home and take a shower and all that stuff comes off. Their edge up is off. It's crooked, you know, but they don't know that because they're like, oh, well, he has, you know, 50,000 followers, so I'm going to pay that. And it's just like, that's the part of the game that I don't like. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but I see this a lot. And it sucks, but who am I to say that? Like, if that's how they function and that's how they do their job and that's how they make it, then that's how they make it. I don't know what's going on. But I see that, and I don't want that to be a part of what the culture is here in barbering, because we're bigger than that and we're better than that. And so that's that. Sorry about that. My phone battery is running low. But yeah, that's the message today, man. If you want to open up a barbershop, hopefully I drop some gems for you, and hopefully you pick up on it, and hopefully you understand, man, that it's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of literacy of understanding finances. I don't know what's gonna happen with the dollar now, man. We're going to a digital currency. I don't know how people are gonna function. I don't know how bills are gonna be paid. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. So that's another thing that's in my mind. And I'm better off cutting hair. Honestly, man, the truth of it is I'm better off cutting hair by myself in a small studio, or converting, you know, my personal space at home. I have a garage that I'm converting into a multi. I'd rather do that, man. Honestly, I'd rather just cut from home, control my environment. You know, my customers are loyal to me. I don't need walk-ins. And if I do need to promote myself, I know what to do. But I never wanted to be that the year. I'm 42 years old, about to be 43. I don't want to be doing that, man. I don't, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to move forward. I don't know what's going to happen with the dollar. So, but I just think that way in case things hit the fan and people are not able to do things, and, you know, and sometimes businesses go under, and that it happens. It sucks, but it happens. And some businesses, they overcome and they get support and they raise money and they get whatever help, which is great. But for me, I don't rely on that, man. I have to have like forward thinking, but I have to be realistic of what may happen and how I'm going to sustain myself. And it's just crazy. I don't, you know, promote fears, you know, stuff. I just want to be realistic with people and know that being a barber is very difficult. You know, being around the wrong people will also cause you more pain, more headache, and it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. And I'm telling you, it's a very difficult thing sometimes to separate friendships from business, because they have a certain understanding of how things are, and they're not always going to ride with you, man. And they'll conspire against you just because they want your life. And they think like, well, I want his life. I should be driving that car. I should, you know, be living like that. I should have this money, not knowing all the losses. And I think that's what people need to speak more on. Is like, look, man, this is what the cost is. The behind the scenes, this is what I go through. I lose sleep. I don't spend time with my family. I don't do this. I don't do that. And I think that's the most valuable thing right now, man, is spending time with your family. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying there's not successful barbershops out there that are functioning. But in the city of San Antonio, it's hard to have multiple barbershops, because if you don't have the right team, you know, people are jumping around. And if they're not good at haircuts, they're going to mess up your brand. And it's hard to have 12 great barbers that know how to cut hair. It's hard to have that. So either way, man, I'm about to jump out and get to work. So I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I hope this helps somebody out there. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram, MrJoeBarber.